Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about slogans and how sometimes a slogan, especially if it's been around a long time, will get so entrenched in our vocabulary that we forget the original meaning. When a slogan comes out, it doesn't encompass the whole idea. It's something to represent a much larger idea. Sometimes a slogan has been around for so long and the situation has changed so much that if you just listen to the slogan, you undermine the idea that that slogan was supposed to represent. And this is exemplified in the discussion over withdrawing troops from Germany. You have a whole bunch of people who are very on the record in regards to their desire to curtail U.S. military activity, who don't want the troops removed. And it is confusing a whole lot of people. The idea, bring the troops home, I've heard this for decades. It's been a slogan. When the slogan emerged, the idea was that if we brought the troops home, we would be less likely to engage in military adventurism and get involved in stuff that we really don't need to. It's kind of the idea behind it. De-escalate. Bring the troops home. De-escalate. That was the idea. The whole idea of bringing the troops home is that they would come home and be disbanded. Not that we would just bring them home and they'd hang out at, Fort Rucker. So people who still stick with that mindset that we need less troops, they're opposing the Trump decision. The Trump decision to withdraw. And this has confused a whole lot of people. Because in one moment, you have those who want to de-escalate the militaries all over the world, foreign policy hawks, and those people who just will oppose anything that Trump does, all lined up, all in agreement. Foreign policy hawks and those who want less troops, they rarely agree on anything. But in this moment, they do. And it's mainly because the idea of yanking troops from Germany doesn't mean what a lot of people believe it means. They think that these troops are going to come home to the United States. A whole lot of people think that's what's going to happen. It's not. 6,000 of them have already been reassigned, basically. They're going so far away from Germany, they're going to Belgium. Not very far at all. Or they're going to Italy. They're not leaving Europe. It's not a move to demilitarize in any way, shape, or form. They're just relocating them. About 6,000 of them will be coming home, but I know at least part of that is an armored unit that will come home and then start a rotation back to Europe. It's not actually about demilitarizing. None of these troops are coming home and their positions being eliminated. We're not lowering our troop numbers total. Now that slogan, bring the troops home, that originated in a time where we had to have troops elsewhere to get involved in something quickly. The situation today is different. The United States can put boots on the ground anywhere in the world in a matter of hours. And it's not necessarily because of foreign bases. It's because we've learned to force project. So, pulling these troops out does not actually lower troop numbers. On the contrary, if we take Trump at his word, how advisable that is up to you. If we take him at his word and what he's saying his intent is actually what his intent is, and it's not just a gift to Putin, the goal is more troops. We're removing troops from Germany as punishment in order to gain leverage. So Germany increases its military expenditures. More troops, more NATO troops, more troops to be used in adventurism because it's part of NATO. And when the US gets involved in something, Germany will probably help out. So while many see themselves as being anti-war, so they're cheering this on, they didn't follow it through. They just heard that slogan. We're pulling troops from Germany. The idea is to move about 12,000. There's going to be double that still remaining there. And they're not coming home. They're being repositioned to make way, in theory, for more troops. No troop reduction, but if he gets his way, there will be more German NATO troops. Backing him moving these troops, removing them from Germany, that's not a peace move. It's not. It helps expand NATO. It helps expand the militarization of Europe. It's not moving in the right direction. Now, the foreign policy hawks, the reason they agree with this is an entirely different set of circumstances. Germany is central. We want troops there, just in case there ever is going to be a ground incursion there. That's really why we want them. Because most of Eastern Europe, by our doctrines, we're just writing it off. It's a buffer zone. That we're really letting them into NATO, so if Russia was to move, they could steamroll over them, and they would buy us enough time to get our forces ready in Germany. Moving the forces closer to Russia makes them more susceptible to a surprise attack, not less. It's not really a deterrent, it's spreading the troops out, making them less effective in a conventional fight. So the foreign policy hawks, those who want a strong U.S. military presence in Europe, they want the troops to remain in Germany. The peace advocates, those who think beyond the slogans, they're opposing this because they understand the end goal is more troops, which, as we talked about in the recent video, what good are troops if you don't use them? And the lobbying that the defense industry does, it's not really that much different in Germany. It's still going to happen. There's still money to be made. There's still corruption. Is it as bad as the U.S.? No. But the U.S., well, we can drag them into it. It's more troops. That's why it's being opposed by people who would normally be all about bringing the troops home. Because the goal isn't to bring them home. It's to increase the number. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.